101. We can go ahead and get started. Okay, today we're talking about QA Track. Um, QA Track is a add-on feature from Ecotrope. It helps with the ResNet quality assurance process, and we'll go into what it does and some metrics we've pulled together from folks who use it here in a minute. Uh, and Yeah, ResNet is constantly, increasing and adjusting the QA requirements, and it's a lot to keep up with. There's a requirement that as of January 1st, 2026, all ResNet QA will need to either go through the ResNet QA app or an approved alternative, which I believe QA Track, I don't know of another one, maybe there is, but QA Track is a ResNet approved QA alternative. Um, so, uh, yeah, I think, had 9,000 QA checklists submitted to ResNet through QA Track this year. It's widely used. It helps a lot of folks out, and just helps the process. So okay, let's start going through it. I think we can kind of call that as a quorum at 103. Okay, QA Track. What does it do? We'll go into a demo here in a minute, but high level, you know, QA Track is not it's not doing QA for you. What it is it helps stay on top of how many QAs you need to do, bringing everything into Ecotrope so you don't have to have multiple, a spreadsheet tracking it, your, SharePoint with all the files up, and Ecotrope and the inspection report. It kind of just brings everything into one place. So it can just help streamline and eliminate the headache of managing the quality assurance process. Quality assurance, it's really important, but it's not always urgent throughout every month of the year. This is a great solution to just kind of keep it going along, and not fall too far behind, especially with the increased time pressure for completing QA in the industry. So, a couple things it does more than this, but these are kind of the cliff notes. QA Track automatically marks 10% of registered homes for file QA, and that's on a per rater basis. So it you can set it up where it automatically will ensure that 10% of every rater's homes get a file QA. Uh, it brings the QA checklist into Ecotrope, so you can just have the QA checklist right there with your energy model and fill it out. It allows for easy submission of the QA checklists to Kibana. We use the same API endpoints that the ResNet QA app uses. So basically, what we're sending to ResNet is the exact same thing that the ResNet QA app uses. Um, and Right now, we support the file, field, and pre-drywall QA checklists. We'd like to support the sampling one as well, but we're waiting on ResNet to add a API endpoint for that one. Um, the other thing it does is, by bringing everything into Ecotrope, it allows for seamless communication between the rater and the QAD. So, uh, the QAD and the rater, they both know, okay, what projects are being QA'd, where is it in the QA process. The QAD has the ability to send a checklist to the rater, of saying, hey, I completed the QA, here it is for your review, or hey, there's some things you need to take care of. So it just makes for a nice uh, you know platform to share all this information and keep everything on the right track. Okay. This is one testimonial we had from Mark over at Earth Advantage, that it helps his team's QADs track their field and file QAs, stay on top of their work, and it helps them, stay on top of things and not have to kind of wait till the end of the year to rush and get all of their QAs in under the wire. It really helps them kind of stay on track throughout the year. So this next graph, this is some metrics that we've pulled from this year. So at the end of February, I believe, we released the ability to submit QA checklists through QA Track. And by submit, I mean like send them to ResNet. Uh, and this is the kind of percentage for each month of projects that were registered that of the projects that were registered by a QA track user, how many had a submitted QA checklist that month? So, for instance, in March, 9% of the homes that were registered with ResNet got that QA checklist submitted, the file QA checklist submitted. So you can see, folks who are using this feature are able to stay on top of their QA on a month by month basis. There's no kind of backlog that waits till the very end. And then, file QA, we're a little bit below 1%, but that's the one part of QA track. We don't automate field QA uh, selection because there's so many more logistics that go into that process. So just wanted to share this that like it's that's what it's doing is it's just smoothing out peace of mind. You don't have to have a big headache with managing your quality assurance. Okay. Uh, so how does it work? Okay, give me one moment. I gotta change the screen share and we'll do a demo. Uh, so feel free to leave any questions or comments you have. So, okay. All right. Okay, so I am in a demo. I'm a demo user right now. So some of the information might look a little strange, but QA track, it really starts with these two new fields here, QA type and QA status. These are new search parameters that you can um, uh, they're basically a project level property in Ecotrope that you can search for and filter by. So, if I'm a QAD, I can log on and say, okay, QA type, I'm going to do HERS file today. And QA status, that's more of a where in the QA process is the project. So QA status, what projects have been, uh, you know, what projects have been marked for QA or um, have failed QA. We'll be adding to this list here in a minute, and I can show you how that works. But you can then search by rater of record or things like that. So you can uh, do the QA on a rater by rater basis or however you want to do it. But this is a these are project level properties, QA type and QA status, and those really are what enable a lot of the functionality in QA Track. So okay, I'm going to go into a project and if you go into project info, like I said, you have a new tab up here for QA info where you can set the QA status. It can be either marked for QA. Uh, Auden, are we able to see? Are you able to see the drop down through the screen share?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I know certain screen shares doesn't work. So you can have, hey, a project's been marked for QA, which that's the process that can be automated. We'll show you that in a minute. QA can be in progress. Okay, I've now done the QA. It needs revision from the rater, or the QA is passed, QA has failed. QA types, the options right now are HERS file and field, Energy Star file and field, and pre-drywall field. Completed by Quentin, this is our QAD account here, Quentin Allen DuPont. And then date completed, let's say I'm doing it today, and any corrective actions. I also have the ability to share this. So I'll show this in the app here. Um, so okay, this is at the project info level. If you go into the building design, this is where we bring the checklist into the building design. So just like you can have quick results, you can have a QA track tab. So the QA track tab, it has this kind of QA info that we just set. So, okay, I'm saying, hey, my QA is in progress. I'm doing HERS file. I'm the QAD. I'm doing it today. Then I go to the QA checklist. You have the different options for QA here. I'm going to do my file QA. And then, you just go through the QA like you would normally do. So a couple nice things here. We automate the scoring here. So, okay, if I say this was unsatisfactory, you automatically this is a mandatory item. So, we got the address wrong. It fails QA. Um, you can also leave comments on everything. So, let's say floors and basements, you know, oh, wait, this is basements. Uh, can't type it. So, um, you can leave comments in here, which will be visible to your rater. What we suggest here is obviously this is a lot of drop downs. So this is a lot of kind of manual check like that. What we suggest is going through and marking anything that's either unsatisfactory or uh, has some result other than satisfactory, because we have this button at the bottom that allows you to mark unset items as satisfactory. So it's basically, I've gone through the checklist, I've marked everything that's wrong. Okay, boom, everything else marked as satisfactory. Uh, we also have HVAC grading. So if I'm doing HVAC grading, we have the QA uh, pieces there. You can also add custom items if there's specific things that you want to check as part of your QA review. Um, then right here you can submit to ResNet. So let's see how this goes. So you can submit to ResNet. This works a lot like submitting a project to ResNet. There are automated QA checks that will run. So you can see, okay, I have a lot of things right, but okay, the project in QA track to submit a QA checklist to ResNet, the home must be registered already. Okay, the rater of record doesn't have a valid RTIN here. The address isn't complete. And yeah, so it ensures that all the information is correct before it's sent to ResNet and creates an official record in the registry. Um, okay. Uh, this other button here, share, this allows you to communicate with the rater of record. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. And then I can share this. And okay, it's going to, the rater of record here is provider demo. That's just our demo account. And I'm going to send them the file QA checklist. So this sends an email right from Ecotrope. So if there's something you want your rater to look at, this is an easy way to make that happen. Um, if I wanted to leave some high level comments, I could leave that here in corrective actions, like, QA, good. Um, okay. And then I'm going to share that with the rater of record. And you can also add other users as well if you want other people to receive the email. Okay, so my QA notification has been sent. So I'm now actually going to hand this off to Auden, and he's going to show what it looks like from the Raider perspective. So the Raider, they can see all of this information, but it's read only. So go for it, Auden. Let me stop sharing.
Yeah, thank you. So, I'm not sure if I can see this exact project, but we do have another one prepared, so it's all good. Let me just share this. You can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yeah. So here I'm logged in as a raider, and I can see. Well, I'm actually. Am I logged in? I'm gonna log in as the other raider
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Log in as the Raider.
This one, and I can see the status of the project. If I log in here, I get the same info that you just showed, but I cannot edit anything. And I can see the corrective actions here and the percentage. And I can also, if I go into the design, I can see the full checklist and what was unsatisfactory, and also the comments of every single item that you checked. So here, there's what was a comment, and here is the one that was unsatisfactory. So it's very easy for me as a rater to see exactly what I need to fix, and also like the general corrective actions that I need to do.
Awesome. Thanks, Auden. So we did have a question come in. So the question is, for example, say a rater fails a file QA review, but other raters are listed on the same project for only performing the fieldwork associated with this rating. Will the other rater listed on this project who did only the fieldwork have a fail on their record as well? Or does QA track separate this data when communicating with ResNet? Um, my understanding is any any rater listed on the project is subject to the QA of that project. So if the project fails QA, everyone listed on that project has a failing QA. Um, so it's basically anyone on that project is tied to that QA, and any QA done on that project counts for all of everyone listed on that project. So uh, that's and this has been walked through with ResNet, and that's their understanding as well that they've communicated to us. Okay. Um, so here, can I take back the screen share?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, thank you. All right. So a few other things that QA Track can do. Uh, we've shown now the checklist in the Ecotrope project, and we've also shown this QA type and QA status. So uh, the other piece of this is tracking. How many QAs does each rater need? Does each inspector need? So the way we can check that is we have a QA track dashboard. So if I go into here, um, I can see all of these. These are all of the raters in this organization. And I can see the file eligible projects. A file eligible project includes any project that was registered with ResNet, or um, or a project where the QA status was manually set to basically needing QA or having a QA done. Uh, so in this instance, we're going to look at John Smith. So John Smith looks like he's registered there's been 133 projects registered in the year 2025 that he's, will need to be QA'd on. So that means basically he has to have 14 QAs, file QAs done for him. Looks like one has already been selected. Um, of that one project that was selected, the QA has not been completed. Um, and of those 14 projects, none of the QAs have been completed. So what I'm going to do now is there are two ways. Um, we have another question. Taylor asks, are the 14 projects just hers or are they also Energy Star? Great question. These projects are not Energy Star, but if they were marked for file hers file QA, you also wanted to do Energy Star, you could do that and you would add Energy Star file as a QA type. Okay. Um, so I can show you how that would work a little bit later. Uh, there's two ways to automatically select projects for QA. One of them is projects as they're submitted. One out of basically it automatically will assign 10% of projects that were registered with the QA status of marked for QA. So, when John Smith does rating number one, if you have that setting on, Ecotrope will randomly decide, okay, John now requires one file QA. Is this one project going to be marked for QA? And it will say yes or no. Um, and it will do a random assessment up until uh, he reaches that next threshold of 10. So it will always assign it basically will always keep you a little bit ahead if you're doing that. It does have an element of randomness, so it's not just picking every 10th project and marking it for QA, but it will never let you get behind in terms of how many projects are marked for QA. The other way to mark projects for QA is this auto select button here. So if I wanted to do it in bulk, like let's say, hey, yeah, I'm ready to do QA, let me mark all my projects for file QA. When I click this, it is going to mark, it looks like there's basically 13 more projects as marked for QA for John Smith. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Sure you want to auto select these. Okay. Okay. And that's going to run for a minute. But it will automatically make that update for me so that I always stay on track. Perfect. So now I can go back here and say, okay, rater of record, John Smith, QA status marked for QA. There's my projects. So, okay, now I just have my list and I can start going down and doing QA. So I know we did have one project that we'd previously set up as um, needing revision. Yeah. So, um, you know, you can also have projects, in this instance, if I'm John Smith and I had been doing one of those QAs and I found something wrong, John Smith on the rater side could also be searching for, hey, what's the QA status of my projects? Um, all right. Yeah, so I guess just to answer Taylor's question. So okay, so these projects have been marked for QA. They've been marked for hers file QA. If I say, you know what, I'm also going to do Energy Star QA, I can just add that Energy Star file and hit save. Um, yeah, so uh, I won't save that just because of ResNet registration issues here. Um, so the last piece of marking projects for file QA is in your organizational settings here, you have these two settings here, QA start date and enable instant QA selection. So if I wanted to, instead of doing that bulk update for QA selection, if I wanted to have projects just be uh, automatically picked 10% at a time for marked for file QA, I could click this button and it will just pick a random 10% every time as I register homes. And then the QA start date is just to ensure that, when you start doing this process, it doesn't, pull projects from past years. So I would say, okay, I'm going to do this starting in Q4. So I'm going to say my QA start date is October 1st and start doing it that way. Um, yeah. One other thing I didn't show in the QA dashboard here, you can sort by quarter. So if I just wanted to look at Q3 of 2025, I could. Um, yeah, so looks like John Smith has not registered any homes in Q4. So I'm on track. But if you were doing it quarterly, you could use this view as well. Um, so yeah. Uh, in terms of um, the presentation, that's really about it. It helps automate your QA workflow, and it just brings everything into one place. So um, yeah, we wanted to say thank you so much. We do have a few questions, so we can go through those. Um, okay, Samantha asks, can we print any QA reports from QA Track? So uh, you uh, that's a good one. So we don't have a report, but we have done exports for folks in the past, and um, let me just pull this up. Um, so you can't do reports, but I will say that this. Oh, I gotta refresh. That's right. You can just copy this and it will paste into a spreadsheet very easily. So that's one way to do a report. Um, if you wanted to uh, get a record of the exact checklist you did, um, you could go into the QA track checklist and say share and share it with your username. So I don't think I'm in that. You could share with your username here. I'm not familiar with the users in this demo organization. Um, all right. I think we did have a couple other questions. Um, we had a question from Eric about not seeing where the QA tool where it shows the Energy Star file or field done. Uh, is this marked Energy Star file done? Um, yeah, as long as the project has a QA type of Energy Star, that information will be relayed to Kibana, is my understanding. But I can double check that for you, Eric. Um, but as long as it has that QA type, it should be going to Kibana. If you're seeing something else, be happy to look into it for you. Is there a way at the end of the year to view how many file and field QA reviews are needed to close out the year for an entire providership? Or are we looking across every rater's stats to see if they have all been fulfilled? So I would say yes, as in, you do kind of you have to use that QA dashboard. But you can see, you'll be able to see like, you can sort these. So you could say, okay, um, which, who has the most file QAs completed? Right now, nobody has any file QAs completed, but you can look through the spreadsheet and see, does the numerator match the denominator down the whole column? If so, then you can um, feel confident that you've completed this. Uh, there is one other piece I didn't mention earlier.
Yeah,
Uh,
just Patrick, at the bottom of that QA track dashboard, you can also see the total if you remove that.
yeah, that's true. So
That's
you
good.
do have these numbers down at the bottom. I think that's a recent addition. So you do have the ability to see kind of high level aggregated information for your whole providership. Um, One other search parameter I forgot to mention is we do have QA checklist submission status. So this is whether or not the QA checklist was submitted to Kibana. So you do have the ability to say, hey, of my projects that have passed QA, how many have actually been, uh, file QA submitted? So you can make sure that even if you're completing the QA in Ecotrope, is it actually making its way to the registry? It can double check that. Uh, okay, Bob has a question. When will this be implemented? So this is implemented. This is live. People use it all the time. It is an add-on feature, so there is a small additional cost. It does, it's a marginal cost on a per project basis. So, you reach out to myself or Auden or David for any if you're interested in just learning more about what the uh, cost is and how things work around that. Uh, do you have to auto select individually for both HERS ratings and Energy Star ratings? The answer is yes. Yes, you do have to auto select individually for both of those. Um, okay, Samantha, I like that idea of submitting a report, pulling a report monthly to share with your raters. Um, Cassandra asks, are you able to see RFIs on the QA dashboard as well as the raters? The answer, I believe, is yes. Anyone who is associated with a rating will be on the QA dashboard. Samantha asks, can we resubmit a checklist multiple times? Sometimes you catch a mistake. Um, oh man, David's answering these quicker than I can read them. That's all right. Uh, caught a, I've caught a mistake that can yes. So if you've caught a mistake in a QA and you want to resubmit that QA checklist, it really works the same way as like re-registering a project with ResNet. You just submit it again and it overwrites that record. Um, all right. Yes, Steve, we will be posting this on this webinar on YouTube and we'll share an email with the link to it to everybody here. And so, all right. I think that's about everything for today. I know we're a little short today, but we'll just be giving everyone their time back, and we really appreciate you all attending this webinar. And like I said, we'll be posting it on YouTube and following up with everybody over email. If you have any questions or you'd like to learn more, feel free to email me. I'm Patrick at Ecotrope. Auden is Auden at Ecotrope. David is David at Ecotrope. We'd be happy to talk more about this and whether or not it could be a good fit for you and your team. All right. I did just see one other thing. Uh, Sam's asking about two save functions. Um, yes. So Sam just asked about saving and how that works. So it is can be a little tricky. So um, you do now have two save buttons. So the save button here in the checklist is just for the QA track, the QA information. It will not save your building design. And if you save your building design, it will not save your QA information. So that is an important distinction. The reason for that is QA, all of this information it lives at the project level, not at the building design level. So they're distinct kind of places to save information. So that's why they're separate. Um, but yeah, that is something to just be aware of is, it, but you could also say is, the person doing the modeling is often different than the person doing the quality assurance review. So, it's different. Okay. That also is you can save this without having a ResNet issue. So, okay. I think that's about everything, everybody. So again, we'll be posting this and thank you so much for your time. And we'll uh, get this posted and shared out later this week. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.